Yeah.
All right, we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to the Queen's Room podcast. As you can see, I have guests all over the place. I have uh, Chris in the XD from the XD podcast, and I have my beautiful Tongan princess, Manu. I'll say this every time. I'm going to learn this whole name one day. I'm going to learn it. You
Good
got to
luck.
say it one time for the people. You got to say your whole
Just
name one
one
time.
time.
Just one time.
Okay, ready? Akosita le polo mele la manu siu I hau kau tapu fan.
Yep, all I got is Acosito La Mano. That's all the part I know. That's all I got right
Akosita le manu.
That's nice.
now. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another panel discussion. And this is standards versus expectations. And it comes up a lot because people confuse the two. And just so there's no confusion for the rest of the world, I'm going to give you the definition of standards according to Webster and the definition of expectations. Standard is a noun. Okay, it's a noun. It's something considered by an authority or a general consent as a basis of comparison and approved model. Okay. Another definition is a rule or principle that is used as a basis for judgment. And my favorite one, standards, those morals, ethics, and habits, etc., established by an authority, custom, or an individual as acceptable. Acceptable. That's a standard. Now, expectation. The first definition for the first one that it say the act or the state of expecting. The act or state of looking forward or anticipating something expected, a thing to look forward to, a prospect of future good or profit. I like that one. A prospect of future good. It may or may not. Okay, it's not the same as a standard. A standard is established. An expectation is a prospect. So we're going to go right into some common unrealistic expectations. And I got a list. Y'all stop me anytime if one hit on anything for you. To be perfect. You expect your spouse or your partner to be perfect, and it's unrealistic because nobody's perfect and we all fall short of the glory. Okay. Far as men go, women expect men to be handy and know how to fix everything. Tim the Toolman Taylor. But on the other side of that, a lot of men expect a woman to know how to cook. And even though you should, by my standard, some of them can't boil water. So that's a realistic expectation. Both sides expect people to be a mind reader.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's psychic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like men do that?
Sometimes. I think that's more of a woman thing, though, to be honest.
I think so too.
Women you're just supposed to.
I don't think men. I think men are
usually
pretty clear and concise. They're not really mysterious. We are.
No, just
They're not really mysterious. No, and what we think is mystery is usually them not thinking about nothing.
Exactly. That's my point. Like
you're getting a whole argument. You gotta be thinking about something. They are not
right
at all. It's white noise. And I'm not saying that's not an insult to their intelligence.
No,
they just don't.
Not.
They just don't. Right. Another one is it's a unrealistic expectation for you to get with somebody and think that they're gonna like everything that you like. You don't respect what's different about
like
each
you're gonna
other.
have the same likes and dislikes, and if you guys have anything different, it's weird.
Right, like no, you want to date you if you want somebody who like everything you like. You don't get to experience anything if you like everything somebody else like. And then Manu had put there's no respect for the differences between you two.
Right.
If you like everything I like, I don't. You can't introduce me to anything. I can't introduce you to anything if you like everything I like already.
Right.
So
I'm not trying to date my tether. Like,
no, this is not a Jordan Peele movie. No. Another one is there will be no fighting or disagreements. I started twitching because it's a pet peeve of mine when couples be like, we never fight, we never argue, we get along every day, all the time.
That's definitely unrealistic.
Who?
Okay, so that's unrealistic, but on the other side of that, it's kind of unrealistic to think that because fights have to happen, you got to start one, or you got to make something up to fight about.
And that's. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be accountable for women on that. We'll start a fight for no reason. I would have started a fight to see if you
said
care,
it, not me. Yeah,
which is stupid.
Well, I
But we
definitely
do
agree
that
with
anyway. What'd you say, XD?
that. I definitely agree with that. A woman to start a fight over nothing.
just because she feels like fighting is a part of the relationship, so we got to have a fight for no reason.
A woman. I ain't saying me or Manu do that. I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I'm not singling anybody out, but it's been known to happen.
I feel like, okay, maybe you can almost tie that into the first point of like we were saying, women are usually like have a lot going on in their minds and men don't. So we're thinking about a lot of things at once. So I mean, not necessarily it's always like you're just trying to pick a fight because you're trying to pick a fight. We're just usually like thinking about a lot of things and just bringing it up, and then it turns into a fight or whatever. But men are just like, okay, it's really not that big of a deal because they weren't even thinking about it to begin with.
They'd have no idea about the scenario that we've made. We have made a whole play in our head.
We made a whole thing in our head. But I would also say for the couples that say they don't fight or they don't argue, I'd almost like want them to expound on it, only because like sometimes people say that because their past relationship, it was a certain type of fighting. So like they would get into arguments, and this relationship may be more like a conversation. Like, okay, I don't like this, you don't like this, this is our meeting point. It's not like screaming and fighting and being crazy type thing. You get what I'm saying?
You gotta know how to argue.
People are saying that, but they're not saying we don't argue. It's just saying like we don't argue like I did in my past relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like 75% of the time you hear that though is because whenever one person gets mad at the other side just kind of rolls over and just goes along with whatever.
Right.
Because the other person's being loud. So
yeah. Next on the list we got maturity. Child, listen. Age really ain't nothing but a number, but child.
So I mean, with that one, like, is it saying it's unrealistic to expect maturity just based on like their age, or how's that like?
Yes, just based on age alone, you can't expect somebody to. Oh, you're so and so years old. You should be mature by now.
So, like saying, like if you have a kid or something like that, like you're expecting maturity out of that person.
Yeah, because they a parent.
Yeah.
No.
Gotcha.
Nah, bro.
You can be a parent.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
You can be a parent at 16 and still not reach that maturity level to being a parent.
You could be 46 and still.
True. You could
56.
still be older and still nothing clicks. I think
your
just
kids can be more mature. Yeah. Since your kids can be more mature than you at some point.
True. That is true.
This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one on the list so far of unrealistic expectations. It's unrealistic, even though we feel like it's something that should be common. It's unrealistic to think that everybody has excellent communication skills.
This is true.
Because, Lord, that goes with the maturity thing, and it came right after the maturity. thing on the list because a lot of people think that they're an excellent communicator, but the person you're talking to may not even feel like that. And everybody also expects that people communicate the way they communicate. I might not get my point across the way you get your point across. So you shouldn't, I might not comprehend how you comprehend things. I may not say things how you say things. We might be saying the same thing and argue for 20 minutes. And a third party would have to come in and say, y'all saying the same thing. But that's not what happened.
But I would also say too with communication, I feel like with the unrealistic part is coming in thinking they will automatically understand you. You're automatically going to understand them.
Yes.
I feel like you could be good at. Me and you could be good at communication, but then me and Chris or me and XZ could not. We don't communicate well because we haven't spent that time or we haven't learned each other yet. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Your communication don't just click. Like
right. I think that's the unrealistic part.
Yeah. What you about
I think
to say
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point because a lot of times when you see someone who's attractive, the mindset is I want to get with them. It's not I want to get to know them. It's just I want to get with them based on what I see instead of trying to connect with them based on what you know about the person.
Right.
Exactly.
Flesh. The flesh is communicating. Ain't nothing else communicating.
It's clear. It's clear.
Ain't nothing else said anything. Another one that I thought was funny, but because I did some research, and it's people say it that that your spouse or significant other will always be romantic, and that the person you with, they're always going to be like sexy every day, or it's every day.
Oh, I want to hear this from the men's point of view.
Girl, I'm waiting. The romantic thing, I know that's women. That's women. That romantic part is women, hands down. You think?
So the expectation you're saying is that she's always gonna be like knockout, like Instagram model sexy, like all the time.
Yeah.
And and I think not romantic. Yeah, I'm thinking more from that.
Mm-hmm. That's the ladies. I want to hear men, which y'all want to hear that.
I don't think I agree.
I need to hear
with
the question
that.
again.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the list of common unrealistic expectations. And in my research, one of the things that came up was women always expect everything to be romantic every day. And then some men just expect you to look like Jessica Rabbit all day long, every day.
Right. The reason why I want to hear from the men's point of view is because men are more visual.
Yes. I'm just this. You see where I'm sitting. I want to hear this.
The reason I disagree with that thing is because I mean you have to define what sexy is, like if you're really attracted to this person and you're just ending 100% for the relationship. I mean, she could be in sweatpants and your old hoodie from 20 years ago and you still think she's sexy. So I mean, I don't think anybody who's really heavy on the visual, you got to have your makeup on point, your hair got to be done, you got to have the right evening gown and all that for me to consider you sexy. That's a person who's not 100% in that relationship.
Right.
That's a good answer.
I can also I don't agree with that as well. Because I always feel like I was raised that if you can wake up to a woman and see her like that waking up, then that's the woman you should be with. Because a lot of women hide a lot of themselves with makeup and extensions and all that. You really don't get to see the true person of who that woman is because she has so many accessories on. So when a woman has on less accessories, it's like makeup and everything, I'm more in tune to talk to that type of woman. Sometimes I see a woman she got makeup and stuff on. I'd be like, well, can I get a washcloth and wash all that off so I can see the real you?
And see what you really look like under that.
Will be dirty,
right?
Because let me tell you something.
Because we're going with men being visual, and if you have bumps and stuff all on your face, and that's just how you are. You came with bumps on your face, and you covering it with makeup, and then when you decide to rub it all off, and it's like, whoa, what was
This
that?
is a different person.
What
Exactly.
Pastor say? The back of a what Pastor say that day? The back of a Nestle Crunch bar.
You know what?
Wow.
Pastor,
Our pastor really said that.
he
Really said that.
Roasting.
But that's the thing, though. I don't remember which one of y'all was talking to. It might have been a group discussion. I was talking about. As far as my hair is concerned, I love my natural hair. Mine was there when I cut it all off, and I didn't have but this much hair. But I love that whole process, and it almost annoys me when I get more compliments when my hair is straight. Like it's irritating. Like that's the standard. Like, oh, okay, and then
I
that's
get the
another
same
part that irritates
thing.
me. The part that irritates me is, oh, you did your hair today.
Yeah. Oh, it looks nice. It looks so professional. Thanks.
Because it's straight.
Yeah, right.
If you don't go, listen here,
Going
my
back to
hair.
standards of
One of the
beauty.
biggest problems. One of the biggest problems is that Hollywood has told us what to identify beauty as,
Come on now, somebody.
especially when it comes to women. And
Mhm.
it's like one of the problems I see is like people have such an issue with women who have weight on them. It's because she got a
Yes.
little bit of weight on her. I make her beautiful. It does not make her, oh, she's pretty for a big girl. Just
Oh,
make
come-
You know what?
beautiful
Don't
woman.
get me into me started.
we hear that all the time. Me and Manu hear that all the time. You're pretty for a big girl, or what happened that one day I was saying something and I was like, oh, I'm fat, and then somebody was like, oh, you're not ugly.
You're
Wait a minute.
beautiful. I never said I was
Stop
ugly.
that.
Never, ever,
said that.
never. No.
She just said she was big, honey.
I said I'm big. Thank you.
Period. Who said what? But the pretty for a big girl comment,
I think that's so funny.
it's irritating because as opposed to what?
And then,
Right.
and then it gets frustrating in that same area with women like Lil.
You froze.
It's like,
What you
they're
say?
cute
froze.
and
I didn't hear
everything.
that.
You don't have to. Huh?
You froze.
You
What
broke.
did
You
say?
froze
said
for a
it's
second.
really frustrating.
Oh. Well, it gets frustrating when it comes to like women like Lizzo, who has weight on her, but she looks cute. But she feels like to receive positive recognition, she needs to go out and be naked. She needs to go out and show off her body and everything. But it's not about that. Stop following the trend that Hollywood puts out for you to be accepted and just be yourself.
Right, you ain't got to be naked.
True. This is true. But I'll also come from the other side of that. And I also feel like with bigger girls, I feel like first off, anything a skinny girl wears, if a big girl wears it, it's automatically, oh, you're being provocative. You're being too sexy. And it's like, why? Like, why? Because I'm bigger? Because I have curves? Or what? Because
I got something to put in the clothes.
Yeah, because I mean, skinny girls are wearing it and it looks fine on them and they're not being provocative, they're not being whatever. But as soon as you do it,
right? Why are you showing so much? Listen,
right?
There's much, so it's gonna be much shown sometimes. I can't listen. If it's much of something, hey, what you want me to do? I can't act like it's not there. Moving on, because we're still on this list. Moving on. The next one was it's an unrealistic expectation to think that your partner will support everything you do, that your partner will be your yes man. That they'll never tell you no. They'll say everything you do is a good idea. No, because if somebody really cares about you, somebody's really your friend, they'll be like, don't do that. Because Manu will tell me in a minute. She'll say my whole name. In all caps and 17 M's.
Absolutely not.
No.
That's dangerous.
It is dangerous because then you're leading your partner into something and then y'all together. So you just putting yourself in harm's way as well. You can't just, no.
You need somebody enabling spirit is always unrealistic.
What happened? Okay, wait. No matter.
Go ahead.
What are y'all?
Okay. I said the enabling spirit
y'all both
is
started
always
talking
been
at the same time, but then Chris froze.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. XD was
Okay,
saying
now
something.
everybody froze at one point. That's just special.
The
Okay.
enabling spirit is always hazardous to relationships.
I agree. Did you hear him,
Now he's
Mia?
going in and out.
Okay.
Mia?
No, I didn't hear nobody.
Let me say it one more time.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
The enabling
Because y'all both jumped in
spirit
on that.
is hazardous to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it
And-
is.
I agree.
And for the women, because I know some women gonna be watching this to be like, I don't like being told no. Ma'am.
It's getting into that submission word again.
And they don't start there.
Child.
Don't even start with that word.
We've had so many
That's
discussions on
kryptonite.
submission. But listen, let me tell you. Sometimes you need to be told no. If y'all got a bill to pay and you got a big purchase or something coming up, you can't call and like, babe, I want to buy these shoes out your joint account or whatever, however y'all do your finances, and be like, I want to get these, they $500. If your man to say no, put them shoes back. Because in 3 weeks when you got to pay the rent and it's a $500 gone, now you mad. Why you didn't tell me?
At the same time, and this is one of those times when the man can sometimes submit to the woman. Because if he wanted to like take $1,000 out of the account and launch his rap career, she probably should say no to that.
Yeah. Sir, you trash. Let me talk to the camera real quick. No, Manu, let me talk to the camera real quick. Ladies, if you trash, telling me trash.
Don't use the word trash.
Don't use the word trash, but don't let him spend no more of y'all's money. Y'all's money. He can spend his money, but y'all's money that y'all have together, cut it out now. You know it's terrible. You know your ears bleed every time you put them earbuds in. It's trash. Stop.
My
We're in favor and tell him no now.
No. Okay. Also, for the men, while I'm making PSAs, everybody ain't meant to be an Instagram model, and you need to tell your girl no. Just
We get there's a lot of people making money with OnlyFans, but you got to be real.
Child,
It's not
you're gonna
for
be
everybody.
only having, you know what? It's gonna be you, yourself, and I. You're gonna have OnlyFans. You're gonna be the only one in the house. Okay. Moving on. Hold on. The next one on the list. And this is funny because this goes into one of my non-negotiables. But I'll explain that in a second. So unrealistic expectation is that everybody will like your spouse. Or your significant other, that everybody, because you like them and you think they're so wonderful that you think everybody.
I mean, yeah, I guess I can see like where that would kind of hurt the relationship at some point, but
really,
I mean, like distantly, like down the line, like y'all can't socialize in the same crowds. Y'all can't like
because you got a
do
homegirl
things
that
y'all want to do
absolutely hates
because
your man, but
yeah.
See, I'm different than that. If my people don't like the person I'm with, that's somebody I'm trying to build with. So if y'all don't like them, I get around y'all because me and the person already established that we're trying to go somewhere. But if you don't like them, you can go over there and let us do our own thing.
I feel the same exact way. I feel like if you need to be, what is the word? If you need to be, like if you need confirmation from everybody around you, I feel like it's the insecurity within yourself. I don't know if it comes from whether you don't exactly like this person or everything about them, so you're so nitpicky about what everybody else is picking up on. But I mean, if you rock with somebody, if you really truly like who they are, it really doesn't matter what anybody else has to say. If you don't like it, then
you don't have to date them. I'm dating them.
Thank you. That's why I'm with them and you're not. That's why.
And on another part of that, with women, it's usually always the single person. That single friend, Manu
That always
already
has
know where I'm going with this.
an
That single
opinion.
friend who, like I said this on the last episode, it's that single friend who, y'all better than me because I would never.
I
And it'd be
would
some stupid ass like
never.
you vent into your friend like I came every day he leave the milk on the counter. I could never. We know because you've been single for 12 years. We know you could never. Nobody wants you.
Look, Samia, you still there?
I'm sorry.
Samia, relax.
She, because me and her had this conversation before. Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
I have a comment about that. The
Mhm.
thing is, a lot of you women know y'all have that one friend that will speak negative on your relationship, but yet down the line, that friend's words do take root.
Because you
I've
keep
seen that
listening
happen
to
a
it, keep
lot.
hearing it. Yeah.
Right.
Especially if y'all get in an
Like I've
argument.
seen,
So and so told me.
I think the reason I say like I can see that kind of affecting the relationship, I mean, it's been kind of like my situation, like the church I used to attend.
Mm.
Like a lot of people kind of like stayed away from me because like they heard one thing or another, or so and so don't like me and they can't roll in that circle if they with me. So like I see like the dynamics and the ins and outs and like where that could end up ultimately. But I mean, like for the most part, like if you don't like who I'm with, like all right, well, see you around the way.
Period.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes certain discernment also. Let's talk about discernment first, because sometimes the people around you are telling you they don't like this person because you guys are not good for each other. You guys are toxic. We see the toxic traits. We see that you guys are not good together. Right. So I feel like you should be able to discern whether they're lovingly telling you no. And I feel like that comes with relationship and time, and to know that person wants the best for you. They're not doing it out of jealousy or whatever, but also to know when people just don't like that person. Because if you just don't like them because you don't like them, then I don't know what to tell you.
Some of it is jealousy. Because you don't know how many times you found out that the person that you like, somebody used to like them back in the day. And now they're a hater, but they're your friend.
And they're trying to talk you off. Right.
Well, when we was talking, ma'am, that was in 1999. Don't nobody care about 1999.
He had her number one time, but never called her.
Don't nobody. Well, he used to be in my inbox, and okay.
And he ain't no more.
In mind. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Come again. Anyway, the next one. This was a topic for the Chris and XD's podcast. Ain't no Santa Claus. This is something they talked about. An unrealistic expectation is the amount of sex you think you're going to have. Married or not.
Yep.
You think because y'all together now that it's going to be a steady supply. People are tired. Okay? People have jobs. People have children. Women have things that happen once a month that they don't like. So it's not going to be. Yes, XD, because I knew it was coming. I was waiting for that one.
Now, all that is facts. But here's where I feel like women sometimes mess it up. Before you get in a full-blown part of the relationship, y'all are having sex all day. Before you say I do, you're having sex whenever. But when did you say I do? That's when we start hearing, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like it tonight. Can we do it tomorrow?
I picture
Man, he has a point.
That's because me and XD are the only people who've been married on this show. So right now, but
there's two sex lives. There's sex before marriage and there's sex in marriage. Sex before marriage is no holds barred. About it, we gonna do it whenever. Sex in marriage is restrictions, it's appointments,
rule.
Who made
Difference.
appointments?
Yeah,
Child, listen.
and that's
That's
why
actually
most men
common.
always go out and go get the little hot flame because she's ready, she's willing to do whatever. But when you get married, that's when it just calms down.
I gotta
Queen,
agree. I gotta agree and disagree because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, me and him are the only people who've actually been married before on here. The only time where that was an issue in my marriage, um, even with me working two jobs and going to school, the only time that was an issue is when infidelity came in the picture, and I wasn't the one that wasn't unfaithful. So when somebody's not faithful in your marriage, I don't want to have sex with you because I'm thinking about who you had sex with every time we get ready to. And I'm just like, did you touch her like this? Did you do this? Did you do the same? That's what's going in my head. And somebody told me, well, you forgave the person. Just because I forgave you, that don't mean that thought. You still did it. Now we got to go to the doctor. Now I'm paranoid. And I'm just looking at you different. Um, I also think that, which is going to be a future episode of mine, sex drives, not sex drives. What's the word called? Yeah, sex drives. You got to know where they at with it. Um, for me, when the more I feel for you and the more I love you, the more things are going to happen. I'm just going to keep it
I
all the way
think
100.
that's women. I was gonna say that too. I think women
Because
are like that.
the more I feel
thank
for
you.
you, the more I want to do for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the more committed I become, forgive me, everybody, for what I'm about to say. Personally, not for all women. But the more committed I become, the freakier I become because there's a certain level of trust I gotta have before certain things happen. But that's me. But as a whole, for women, I think a lot of women use sex in the beginning of a relationship to get to the relationship. So if you're not a woman who uses sex to get to the relationship, that's your only go-to. You do it to get the man, then you get him, and then you just like, but I don't do that. So um, you it's certain you
And
it's
that's when
like
the man is on to the next one.
right, and it's also it's almost like a video game. Okay, you can't get to the big boss until you beat this level and this level and this level. I'm gonna keep unlocking stuff like Mortal Kombat people. They got the crypt, okay, and you can't get to this thing in the crypt till you got this many coins. So I'm just saying, but that's not everybody. That's not everybody. The the next one again, XD. I'm gonna do you like I did Jessica last week. Wait till I finish reading it. A common unrealistic expectation is you expect your partner, usually the man, to pay for everything. Both of y'all got something to say, but I know. Chris, go ahead, because you like you about to explode.
All right, so like
He sat up.
I guess I'm kind of like old school where
Hmm.
like if I'm in a relationship, I'm the one like paying. Like every once in a while, if she want to pick up the check, like okay, cool, but
I reach
most
for it.
of the time it's just that's just what I expect of myself.
But key word,
And
he said in a relationship.
right,
Not before, ladies.
yeah.
How was you
Like
paying for stuff before this man got here? I just want to say that real quick.
I mean, it's
How was
like
you?
yeah, until it's official and you want to act right, it's just McChickens all day. But once we together, once we together,
He didn't even say four
that's
for four. He went straight to the McChicken. Oh,
nah, we got to graduate to 4 It's part of the crypt. You got to unlock it.
no.
Like
XD,
no,
I know you got something to say.
I want to say something after him too.
Child, he said you gotta graduate.
I want to take the words from a prophet by the name of Riley. He hails
Mhm.
from the town of Woodcrest. You know,
Oh
over the
Lord.
Boondocks.
Lord.
See, if I'm paying, when he said if I'm paying, then she's a hoe. And now let me clear that up. Here's the thing:
Hold up.
there are women who spend
Mm-hmm.
for their money.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting when you take them out to eat. They get excited when you drive miles to take them to cheesecake factories and crap. They get excited when you treat them like pretty woman. But
Mm-hmm.
then when we
Not pretty
when we
woman.
want all that loyalty and everything, we don't get all that because the relationship or the bond is built on money. And when it
Uncle C.
turns out like that, when it goes in that route, it makes the man feels like he's basically paying for a prostitute.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Go
Okay.
ahead, I can see that. I see your face. Go ahead.
I'm gonna expound on what he said before I say what I'm gonna say. So what I feel like,
That was coming.
and I experienced this firsthand. I'm gonna say this from me, and I got it from the other person before too. If you extend your hand first, somebody's going to fall in love with your hand before they fall in love with you. You get what I'm saying? That's number one. So it's kind of what you're saying because it's like the foundation was money because that's what I extended first. Because there are some men that use, I know there's men that say like, oh, women, all they want me for is money. And it's like, yeah, but that's the first thing you offer up. Like, are you offering up your personality? Are you confident enough that you are going to sell yourself rather than putting money first to get that person initially? You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That's real.
And the other thing that I also feel like is because I feel like the other person, if they have high expectations, like they want to go to expensive places, they want to go on trips. For you to expect me to go half on that when I didn't come up with the idea, I feel like that's. I'm. It's not that I'm expecting because I feel like that's the new thing, right? Oh, I want somebody to vacation with. I want somebody to go places with.
I want to
And
be
it's
flued
like,
out.
exactly. And if you meet somebody like that and you're more reserved, you're cool with like just getting regular food, having conversation, but you want to do elaborate, be ready to pay for elaborate because that's what you wanted to do.
And who gonna say no? Who gonna say no?
It's the responsibility to say yes and no, though.
It is. Because ladies, I want y'all to be realistic. This is the part where I say I be playing devil's advocate. If a man flew you out, as y'all like to say, he flew you out. And I don't mean in nowhere in the continental United States, because cut it out. Like for real, flew you out to somewhere that required a passport, all inclusive, all paid for, and you drinking Moet and Andre and all kind of other stuff. And then y'all it's only one room. You know it's only one room.
Right.
I'm not saying that you have to do anything when you get in there, bro. But let's be realistic, ma'am. You know he gonna want something to happen in that
You know
room.
what time it is when you go to show up.
He done fixed $6,000 before you even got there.
I have a question. So what if that wasn't on the table beforehand? So like I feel like that's like, okay, if it was existing before when we get here, yeah. But what if you never did anything before? Should you expect that when you get to the destination to be ready?
Yes and no. Because if you gonna fly me out and do all of this, the first question I'm asking is we got separate rooms or you expect me to sleep in the room with you?
No, that's true. That's true.
But a lot of this you have to ask. It's not about, because men always say women ask lots of questions. Cool. You need to ask the right questions.
Right.
As the two separate rooms, it's because if we got one
That's one
room,
question women won't ask at times.
yeah, listen, I gotta know because I got no. It's just two rooms. It's one room. Oh, it's one. Oh, it's one room.
So okay. I see.
And you still decide to go.
Then you're kind of signing yourself up, basically.
And you know how women are. You going on vacation, so you're gonna be cute. You're gonna be extra. If you're going to an island, some skin gonna be out, some titties are gonna be out, some ass gonna be showing. Stop playing. Don't do that. Don't you gonna be wanting to take pictures all in the water and whatnot. No, sis. Don't do that. Don't. That's that ain't right. Don't do that. The next one. We only have two left. The next one is it's unrealistic to think that you're going to get all of your partner or your spouse's free time.
That's a good one.
Child, that's one of my non-negotiables. Because people always say they're busy. Cool, everybody's busy, everybody has their lives.
Exactly.
But I don't want the person I'm with to think that every single moment I have free, I'm gonna be with you. Especially because all of us have jobs where we work with people. If I've been at work all day, I don't want to see you sometimes for the first 10 minutes. I haven't got home. Let me just because I don't want to unload the day of work on you. I'm mad at the people at work. I'm not mad at you. Give me like 10 minutes. And that goes into something I put on the list for non-negotiables, but people have to have a moment and a time where they're alone and by themselves. And everybody should not take it, I feel like, so personal that the partner don't want to be with you every second of the... What do you want? I'm sorry.
Like, I'm one of those introverts where it's like, after a certain point, like, I got to get away and recharge. Like, and it's nothing personal. It's nothing against you. It's just, I need that alone time.
I think that's all of us.
Yeah, I mean.
Child.
That time away always creates more hunger to want to be with the person.
Right.
It's like watching the same movie. You can't just sit there and consistently watch the same movie over and over. But if you watch it once and then go away, do something else, you'll have no problem coming back watching it.
Right. It's like that song, because I'm a music lover. Everybody knows that.
Stronger.
It's like that song. I ain't heard that song in a minute. That's my song. It's still your song. But we're not about to listen to it every day like lamb chopping, a song that never ends. I can't. That's like everybody know, like something is your song, and then you get on the radio and the radio play it too much. Now you can't listen to the radio, and now you don't like the song anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's what y'all doing to y'all people.
It's overdone. And I feel like that's the point of a man cave. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I would want my own separate area.
I don't want to see shit. I'm just saying.
So we're not constantly around each other 24/7. Please let me have my time to read, relax.
Especially if you got kids. I already know my future husband's going to be ready. I'm going to get away from you and the children. I can't wait to get married so I can say, go ask your daddy and leave me alone. I'm telling you, go. The last one, because there was a lot of things on that list. The last one for the common unrealistic expectations was that your significant other or partner is not going to have any friends of the opposite sex.
Oh my gosh. I was just talking about this today.
Listen here.
Okay, so
yeah,
I want to hear the men.
Because I've had issues with this dating men and women. So
yeah, as a man, like especially as a black man too, it is pretty tough to find a female friend because most of the time it's just either it turns into sex or people are assuming it's turning into sex. So friendship with a woman is generally pretty rare. So so it's like if I do have a female friend and then I get into a relationship, chances are it's actually a friendship. So I mean, it just may have to already be there. Or if it's just still kind of new and things are like kind of up in the air and now I'm with somebody else, I may just have to let it go because we don't know for sure what it's going to be or what it was trying to turn into. So
let what go to friendship or your relationship?
Right. I mean, like let go of the friendship because if I want the relationship more and I don't know where the friendship is going, then I might just have to keep that separate for a while.
Chad, that got dicey for a second. XD.
I need to hit the question again because I think we got into an argument about this a while ago.
Like you knew what the question was.
Okay. The last thing on the list of common unrealistic expectations is the unrealistic expectation that your spouse or your partner will not have any friends of the opposite sex.
They will. Your partner's going to have friends of the opposite sex, but it's going to be hard for you to accept that. And the reason why I say that because you don't know the level of their friendship. You could have been friends with a guy, but y'all had a friends with benefit agreement, and all of a sudden now you're talking with me. But if I make you mad, he knows how he can just slip back in there whenever he wants to. He has established a relationship.
That'd be a problem.
Right. So, and then it's even more challenging because if he's your friend, he knows you. He knows how to connect with you.
Right.
So if I do something stupid or I forget to take out the trash, you go complaining to him about me. He knows how to woo you a little bit. And all of us men do it.
Ooh, not all of you do it.
A man doesn't have a problem with his woman having male friends is if he knows for a fact that male friend is 100% gay. Other than that, as a man, I want to be able to trust my girl, which I'm going to do, but I don't trust the guy. I would never trust the guy.
I'm an XD, the XD. I'm sorry. So I dealt with this personally, and that's why I wanted to hear the men's perspective first. For me, I feel like this person didn't like me having male friends, but I never did anything. So I feel like you're persecuting me before I even did anything. I didn't do anything. And I mean, I do understand knowing the friend and having doubts about the friend, but if you have security in your girl, why does it matter? I mean, the only reason you probably feel flip-floppy is because you know she's a hoe.
Well, again, you said it, not me.
All I'm saying is, when this type of subject, I feel like women miss the point. Not that the man doesn't have trust in the woman. He doesn't have trust in the other man.
But I feel like it's the woman's job, if there was any threat to the relationship, to say no.
Shut it down.
We're talking about saying no. Let's say no now.
Again, women miss the point. Women miss the point. He doesn't trust. He trusts you. He don't trust him. And it's his responsibility as a man to safeguard his relationship. And that's to make sure that no man tries to sneak his way in. It's a pride thing as well for a man.
I feel like there you go. Now you hit it. At the very last second, you shot the shot and you got it. Thank you.
Both fingers.
Go ahead.
So XD made the point about the pride. Another thing is, okay, I'm gonna use an example of somebody at church. I'm not gonna say their name, but Manu's gonna know who it is. This person is friendly with everybody. hey, she know immediately. And a lot of the ladies like him at church. But it's a lot of people who don't like him, a lot of ladies who don't like him, who will keep him at the friend little level just because a lot of ladies at church like him. There's also somebody at church, I say his name, Marcus. He is an awesome man. Don't nobody like him like that, though. We volunteer with him. We feed the homeless and stuff with him. We help, but that's a friend. But don't nobody like him like that. So but I feel like men would be more worried about you being friends with Marcus versus the one that's a hoe. because
I see why you
see where I'm
flip
going
it
with this.
around.
They're more threatened by the good man than the hoe because you would think my girl ain't gonna go for the hoe, but the hoe was going for your girl. I'm just
I wouldn't
Like
trust
I
either of them.
still put the responsibility back on the girl. Like honestly, and I will be 100% honest too. And I don't know how the men feel about this. They can tell me after. But I will be 100% like clear. If there was somebody that hit on me, I'm gonna let you know, and I'm gonna let you
immediately.
know how I shut it down. Because I would never want somebody else to come around and be like, oh yeah, I saw this person and talking to your girl and this, and then for it to make its way back to you like that. However, this person particularly did not like that. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want me to be completely like transparent with you? You know what I mean? And for me to be transparent like that, shouldn't that give you more confidence that I'm not around here playing games? Like I'm telling you right now, this happens and I shut it down.
Instead of being more, because you can tell a guy this, and this happened to me too. Tell a person that hey, so and so was trying to get at me. Then it was instead of okay, I'm glad you da da da, and nothing else. That's what I was expecting. But what happened was, oh, you must have been doing something. It must. How was you talking to him? I'm like, wait a minute,
Security.
Jesus. Wait a minute. If I was, listen, we had a whole cheaters episode. I admitted to being a former emotional cheater.
Mhm.
I have never been caught, only told on myself. So, with that being said, sir, if I was going to do that, you would never know. And it wouldn't be that close to home anyway. Wouldn't be, it, it would be, we wouldn't even do it like that. I wouldn't have told you. Okay? No, that's not how that works. So now what that does is, if it happens again, I'm not going to say nothing. Because the response I got, like if I'm like Manu said, if I'm being transparent and I'm telling the truth, one thing women will do is we'll test you. We don't, I'm going to give you this information. I'm going to see how you react. I'm going to see what you do with it. So that'll let me know whether or not I can come to you again if something like this happens or something along the lines of that happens. But if that's your reaction when I'm telling the truth, I don't want to tell you anything. It's not that I want to lie or that I'm going to lie. I don't want to tell you nothing now because I just don't. I thought I was doing the right thing and then it got that reaction. So what's the point?
Right. So I would want to know from a male perspective, is that something you want to know or is that like something you
Right.
just don't want to know?
Do you want us to tell y'all like what? What is it?
I mean, you don't have to like try and make like a big deal out of it. Like every dude at McDonald's who asks for your phone number or something. I don't need to know like all that, but when it's like somebody you see on a regular basis or somebody we both know, something like that, basically somebody I can watch out for who could conceivably be a threat, basically. That's when I want to know about it.
Right. Or if someone tried to hit you up and they were very disrespectful or something to you, that's something as a man that I would want to know. But I definitely agree with everything Chris
said. I got a follow-up question. So you said like he said not like the regular joke, like if somebody if I tell you that I've handled the situation, do you trust me when I say that? Or do you feel like you have to say something to the person as well? Do you believe me when I say I handled it, I shut it down?
If it happens more than once, then that's when I would have to say something because, I mean, it's obviously ain't handled.
And it depends on the man and the location. Like what Chris was saying, like regular Joe Blow holler at you. I mean, I don't know this person. I'm not going to go out and like a bounty hunter looking for the dude to try to talk to you while you was ordering the McChicken.
Please don't.
But
I agree.
if it's somebody at a church that nowhere together, that nowhere in a relationship trying to holler at you behind my back, then I need to address that.
That's
right.
holes in this house. I like that. That's a good point.
It'd be holes in the church house on both sides.
There's some holes in the Lord's house.
Listen,
I mean, first of all, it's the world. I mean, it's the world. I think
if they've
it's
been a
just
whole Monday through
so
Saturday, they're not gonna stop because
let's
it's
talk
Sunday.
about unrealistic. That's unrealistic to think you're going to go into the house of the Lord and everybody's going to be holy and whatnot.
We not holy. That's why we in the house.
True.
we trying to be covered by the blood.
And you would hope that everybody's listening and everybody's learning. And sometimes you'll like catch somebody and be like, did we just learn? No.
Child.
But I just feel like everybody's in process. Everybody's in a different process. What you know what I mean? Like everybody's walking different. So
Now we're moving on. That whole first segment there, folks, was about expectations. Now we're moving on to non-negotiables, which is a better way of saying standards. So these are a few of the women's standards and non-negotiables. It's not all of them. So don't think that you're going to come at me or Manu just because you have the things on this list. Because don't do that.
Yeah.
Know before you get here. Okay. Anyway. So some of the non-negotiables me and Manu came up with together. Okay. So a lot of them are the same. I said loves God. She said loves God because everybody know how I feel about the Lord. And not only that, I put a comma and I said active in your faith.
Okay.
Because Pastor said something. People always like to say, God knows my heart. Okay, but what's in there? What's in there? What's in your secret place, as we call it? What's in there?
If he knows your heart, he can tell me to stay away. So
that part.
true. And I also feel like us saying that because I saw on the other episode that this was touched a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when you say somebody is a man of God, I feel like that's you saying, like you said, active. But I also feel like it's somebody who converses with the Lord and is obedient. Because I feel like if I want somebody in my life, and men love to talk about submission, and I believe in submission. So this is me coming from that perspective too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to talk about submission, you also have to be that. What am I submitting to? Am I submitting to somebody? Are you submitted to the Lord so I can submit to you, or are you just doing your own thing? Because honestly, I was in a relationship where it was like if Manu said no and the Lord, I mean, if the Lord said yes and Manu said no, then it's no. And it's like, how can you lead a household? I don't know any better. So if you're not listening to God, then where are we gonna go? We're gonna head into like, where are we going?
Come on, somebody.
straight to the ditch.
Build the oil.
Yeah, right.
The oil. The next one on the
Okay,
list.
so
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Hold on.
like, go for it.
Hold on. I need to ask. I need the question one more time because I had a comment.
This is the women's with me and Manu. We ain't speaking for all ladies, just me and her. These are some, not all people, some of our non-negotiables. And the first thing on both of our lists was love God and active in your faith. Like active, you have a relationship with the Lord.
My thing about that is, here's my thing. I've seen so many men play the part of the Christian man in church, and then have women just, oh, he a good worshiper. Oh, he prays the Lord. That's the type of man that I want. But it's just an act.
Put a street.
Because when women see that, they're like, oh, I want to get with him because he appears to be active in his faith. He walking it out. But behind the scenes, he's completely in the world. Because you got to remember, like, some people know how to play the role good. I was recently, and we said this in one of our shows, I know a guy at church who would talk about God, and he was even preaching at one point. But then
breaking up, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Hold on, my back.
I hear you.
You froze.
Okay, I know a guy who was preaching and doing everything in the church. But then at the end of the day, he was telling me that, oh, the church is full of hoes. So I agree with that. And I also say that's very dangerous as well, because have to be sure that what you're seeing is the truth and not an act. I mean, they give awards for people who can act it.
Listen.
Like, here's my question too. Like, does this kind of like feed into an unrealistic expectation? And I'll ask y'all here directly. Is it unrealistic to expect that the person you're with will go to the same church as you or go to church as much as you do?
Ooh, I like this question.
No. I'm gonna say no. You don't have to go to the same church as me. Pastor just had a whole series a little bit ago called Homeschool. And I made I don't remember what episode or who I was talking to, that sometimes you're the only Bible people see. For me, I have to know your relationship is real, because I know people who are very religious and they're all into the ritualistic side of things. They don't talk to God. They ain't been in church since Sunday. They don't open the Bible. They don't pray. They don't do anything outside of church.
Church culture.
Of church culture.
That is what it is.
They don't do anything outside of it. I have to see your I think I said this in the last episode. Everybody can quote a scripture, but what scriptures are you doing?
Right.
It's a few friends in my life. Mana was one of them. Deidre is one of them. What I say, I see God all over her. And I've told Mana this before. In real life, and the type of person that she is. You know what I'm saying? I know what she's been through. She know what I've been through. In real, actual life, I know that child loved the Lord. So I got to see how you are outside of church. When you say that you're a Christian or a child of God, I got to see that outside of that. I can't not just look at that, because I've been in church and I've seen how some people act in church. And then as soon as we get outside of church, it's almost like a culture shock. Like, you can't believe the things that they say and do, versus not patting myself on the back. But Manu knows me in real life. Y'all know me. I am the same person in church. Outside of church. I might be, it might be different because I'm outspoken here. I'm outspoken outside of church. In church, I'm outspoken for the Lord. I'm a shout. I'm one of those. I shout. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I ever go to church with you and you took while the pastor's preaching, you say, "Listen, pastor."
Yeah, we get a lot
happens.
at our church. We talk a lot. We'll be like, "Yes,
listen,
we'll
be we'll be talking about something before church happened, and if she's sitting behind me and the pastor says something, I'll look at her and be like,
"We do that all the time. I told you, he was listening to us."
That has happened, so don't worry about it. You think I say listen a lot? You should meet Dee Dee, because me and her look at each other like, listen, child. You'll hear that too a lot. We'll be in church going, periods. I'm sorry. It's just
they do. That is not even a lie.
It has happened. So, you know.
Okay. But I want to
put the clap in there too. Like, that's right.
Yes.
Yep. This hand and everything. Yes.
I wanted to I'm gonna touch on both really quick. So first, I'm gonna say respond to what XD said, because I feel like if we're gonna talk about people, essentially a false prophet or somebody that puts on a facade to convince you, I feel like that's discernment at the end of the day. If you're really close to the Lord, but like if you have some kind of relationship with the Lord, you do converse with him and be like, okay, am I seeing flesh? Am I in my flesh right now to where I'm interested in them because of my fleshly desires? Or am I truly is this really somebody that is after you, actively seeking you? And I don't think there's anything you could do to avoid those people but to have discernment. You know what I mean? Like, you just pay attention. You just got to pay attention. I feel like most of the time when people don't pay attention, it's because they don't want to. And a lot of times when people don't ask for discernment, it's because they don't want it, because they know God is going to say no. And they don't want to hear no, because their flesh already said yes. So that's how I feel about that. For what Chris is saying, I feel like if you're dating I don't think you have to go to the same church. Because I had an ex one time that told me that I needed to go to his church, and like, we need to be on one accord. We need to be in the same church. We need to be this, and that. And I'm like, no, that sounds like marriage. I feel like
Period.
in marriage, you should be going to the same church, because the point in marriage too, like the underlining point is to be on the same accord. So how are we going to be on the same accord if we're learning different things or different? I'll come with this and you'll come with this, and then what? We're just gonna battle until, like, I mean, you weren't there for the sermon, and I picked the parts that I thought, and we're talking about it, and there's things lost in communication. So
Yeah, I think this is a conversation me and Manu had. And after I say this, I'm gonna move on because that's just the first one on the ladies' non-negotiables. But me and Manu, we was talking to some of the older women in church, and we legit didn't know some of them was even married
yeah,
because their husbands
for
go to
real.
church but didn't come to our church. And then some of them, like that old fashioned, my husband don't come to church. He's a holiday churcher, Easter, Christmas. So, and the question I have now is, would that ever be okay in your household? If we married and
Honestly,
your spouse don't ever come to church, not ever.
I respect that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really do respect that, especially like going through what I went through in the past year. I respect that, because at the end of the day, you really don't have to go to church to have a relationship with the Lord. There's a lot of people that I know that have a really strong relationship with God and never touched foot on any church ground.
Yep.
Honestly, I wish I would have grew up in church to know the culture, because what I experienced it's not the church, it's people, you know what I mean? And the culture, and like the facade you have to put on, and the judgment that's everywhere. And if you get sucked into it, it's crazy. So I understand when people don't want to touch foot on church ground.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because she knows.
Yeah.
She knows, and I think this is how our group of girls became friends initially. Three out of the four of us had not been to church in years, like years, before we joined the church that we go to now. And I'm gonna keep it 100. I ain't watched a sermon in a long time. They go live every Sunday and every Wednesday. I ain't watched a sermon. Do that mean I ain't opened my Bible? Nah, that's not what that means. Do that mean I'll still do my devotionals? Nah, that's not what that means.
Right.
But
Right.
I not miss church? I ain't say that. I do miss the church sometimes and the people and my Manu, but
I miss you too.
it's not a requirement for me as far as my faith goes.
Yeah, and I also I tip my hat to the women that still go to church even though their husband doesn't. But I also can see how women love the, I don't know, like the hallelujah, and men are not into that. They just like to like go into their room and pray and read their Bible and not do all the screaming and the hollering and things. So you may just have different styles too. You have to learn that too. You know what I mean? Not everybody praises the same. Just because I don't pray out loud, or you're any holier than me and I'm any holier than you. So
right, there's no what I want to call it. There's no mold on how to be a Christian the right way.
Exactly.
Even though people try to act like it is.
See, because I have the problem. I have problems because you see this luxurious fro I got going on. Now people see that and they immediately want to label me as a thug and everything. They never take the time to see who I am as a person. Did you just roll your eyes?
I did, because I'm fresh. I do not. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
Because when they see when I get labeled as that, and then we have a conversation, they're amazed at how much knowledge I have about God and how much ambition I have to want to serve Him. But then it's like, oh, their first idea of who I am was I'm a gangbanger or I'm a thug. I get that a lot. The church that I'm kind of in and out of, I'm feeling like I'm alone because I don't play the role that everybody else is playing.
Sure. And I feel like a lot of people like I mean, they say come as you are, but they really don't mean it. I'm not
At
gonna.
all.
They do not mean it. They do not mean come as you are, dressed as you are. Be no. There's the certain
You
way
are,
that
but get like me.
where everybody's talking about you and whatnot. So at the end of the day, you just gotta be good with who you are and just be good on your own. Like I come here to receive the word or whatever part that is, and or serve to the capacity that I do. And y'all like me, you do, cool. If not,
Right.
great.
Right. Okay, we got to move on because that's just one. That's the first one. Second one for both of us is family oriented. Everybody know I'm a daddy's girl. Everybody know I love my granny because I bring that up often for whatever reason. Everybody knows how I feel about my sisters, and it's just not necessarily for I want to say for the black culture, but in my family, the culture we've cultivated is we're close. We do a lot of stuff together. We get on each other's nerves, but that's family. But we're close. We do a lot of stuff together, and it was actually a problem in my marriage because I was close with my family and they weren't close with theirs. So it's like we're doing something with your family again. We gotta leave the house again. And I understood that part because if you're an introvert, you don't want to keep doing stuff. But in my head, it's not a keep. It's my sister's birthday. Of course, I'm going over there. It's my sister's
Yeah,
birthday.
like
It's Father's Day. I have an excellent father. We're gonna go see my daddy today. So you have to be family oriented and don't punish your partner because you're not close with your family. So now I can't be with mine because you're not used to being with yours and you don't want to do it.
wow.
So we're not doing that. Because don't ever ask me to pick them over you, especially if we ain't even married. Now, when you're married, you get together and you start your own family, do your own thing. Cool. But if we just dating, going together, going steady, whatever, do not ever ask me to pick them over you because you're not going to win that battle.
Yeah. Nor should you.
So we're not doing it. Manu, did you want to talk about the family oriented thing? Because that was on your list too.
Yeah, family oriented is big for me, especially because I'm Polynesian. So in the Polynesian culture, that is number one. I mean, under obviously under God, but before anything else, really is family. I grew up with a dad that was hands on. We did a lot of activities with him all the time. So I'm not.
Oh, you froze.
I would want somebody that wants to do family like things. You get what I'm saying? I think it's also important in the dynamic you're talking about. I feel like it's also important that if I was to ever get with somebody that didn't, it would be important for me to desire to want to be family oriented, but not everybody comes family oriented because they didn't experience that. So if you came from a family that's not that close, or you're not that close to your family, I would want to explore that with you. I would want you to want to be family oriented. You get what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I understand that if you come from a family that you guys don't really talk, you guys don't really spend holidays together, then I would want to incorporate you if you wanted to be incorporated. But yeah, that's all I had to say on that.
Guys, do y'all have a comment on that? Hold on, I gotta blow my nose.
I mean, I'm kind of the same way. Like, my family's like all over the country now. When we were here, like, yeah, it was a lot of like togetherness and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I feel that.
XD.
Okay. The biggest thing to me, Chris and Queen know, I officially have all three of my children in the house with me today. My daughter has moved in.
That's
I have all three of my
awesome.
kids.
Yes, God.
Yay!
So I get to be a full-time father now, and that's something I'm all about. I'm all about my three kids. I mean, I didn't grow up with a family close at all. I've always wanted to feel close with my family, but it just didn't happen. But now I have the opportunity to create that with my own.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Okay, and the third thing on this list is it said it goes into the unrealistic expectation list. I put on here have your own hobbies. Okay. And
What?
it goes with it.
I didn't hear
Have
that.
your own hobbies.
Oh,
Have
okay,
something
okay.
to do that has nothing to do with me. So you can go do that sometimes. Okay.
You're passionate about this. You're aggressive on this one, Samia.
I cannot reiterate how it's important to me that you got to have something else to do.
Right.
Do not count on me. I think me and Gloria was talking about one day how the guy was trying to get at her and he was saying all this stuff he wanted his woman to be. He said, I want my woman to be my therapist, my entertainment, my cook. I said,
Whoa.
so you want me to be the TV? You want me to be the therapist? You want me to be the chef? You want me to be the porn star? How are you entertaining yourself now without me in your life? How are you eating right now without me in your life? And
Other
you,
women,
child, listen,
they're doing all of it.
you better buy a Rubik's Cube or a puppy. That is too much responsibility to put on another person to make you happy. Like, don't count on me. Don't put all your eggs. Don't want to say to put all your eggs in one basket with me. Because if we're trying to build something and have a marriage or whatever, cool. I mean, like, everything in your life is focused around me. And I know
Right.
girls love to say they want that. No, that's obsessive. You need
No, I
therapy. You
feel
need
like
something
girls
else
that
to do.
want that, girls that want that don't have nothing going on either.
You don't have anything else to do all day. I mean, XD brought this up. Don't text me all day. What you doing?
Hello? What you doing? I'm doing the same thing I was doing when you texted me last time.
It's between 8 and 5. I'm at work.
Or it's a pandemic going on. I'm at home like everybody else.
Right.
Don't do that. Okay.
Right.
Going to the next one real quick. It's responsible. And I put working, have an income. And then I don't know why I had to put this on the list, but I put it on I made a little semicolon and I put legal means of supporting yourself. Legal.
Samia.
You can't have one foot in the streets and one foot with me. Put both of them out there and stay in the streets and leave me alone. Leave me alone. Marry the streets. Huh? Just do that. We both, I believe we both put ambitious. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Not really though, because like, I mean, there's levels to this. Like, how ambitious are we talking? Like,
That's a good question.
Meaning, like on the last episode, we were talking about, accepting somebody that's dating 9 to 5. I don't have a problem with having 9 to 5. Either you want to work there and work your way up, or you trying to support your entrepreneurial dreams like a lot of us are doing.
I don't know, because last episode, talking about this particular topic, I got some strange views from that, and it confused the world out of me. I don't want to be dropping nobody's name here, but it's I'm confused on that.
What is confusing? I want to know specifically.
That person was, never mind.
It didn't make sense of, I can accept you working a 9 to 5, but I can't accept you working a 9 to 5.
I feel like what they were. I'm sorry.
You're confused too. Look at everybody's confused right now.
I'm not confused.
I'm
waiting for you to finish. Being polite.
I'm finished.
I know she got something to say because I know her. It was no confusion for me because the person who I don't care if you have a 9 to 5. Because I have a 9 to 5 until what are you trying to do in that 9 to 5 is what I want to know. What are your plans? What are your goals? Do you just want to be the front desk clerk at the hotel? You don't ever want to be the manager, or you're accepting a lower level of life for yourself. That's different from, I just want to work here until I die. That's cool. If that works for you, cool. But you can't be with me. You said,
Okay. So I'm gonna come from the
Cycle.
complete opposite side. I don't know. And I heard that perspective. I'm sorry, Samia. I'm leaving
no,
alone.
go ahead. Never mind.
Um,
Hold on. Wait. What? Hold on.
um,
Go ahead.
so to be honest, I feel like the women and all of them were basically saying the same thing. I feel like they were saying yes, but what else? Type of deal.
Come
Um,
on. Yeah.
and most of the time that comes from women that are looking further ahead for themselves. Like if I have a plan to go up, I want you to have a plan to go up too. I also feel like there's this unrealistic thing going around on social media of like, oh, it's not unrealistic, but it's just like, oh, we gotta be building an empire. What does that mean?
No, I
Like
still
there's
know.
so
Everybody
many
can't.
different things that could define an empire.
Right.
Like raising children to be great people of society. That's an
Right.
empire to me.
Right.
Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a business. To each his own, but I also feel like if I truly love you,
Mm.
like love is not everything. I know that for a fact.
Come on, somebody.
But at the same time, like you said, legal means, but I mean, it's kind of, I think it's because I wouldn't want somebody to put that expectation on me. So I could understand how the men felt when the women did it. Like, oh, okay, you got a 9 to 5, so then what else? It's like, dang, this is where I'm at in the process. So
Equally yoked,
this
though.
is where I'm at right now. And honestly, for you to for me, I also don't like the comparison and to put things on levels like, oh, that's what you like for your life, because that's kind of saying like, oh, I'm better than you because you're at this job. You get what I'm saying? Like that.
Mhm.
I mean,
I
I
see
feel
where
like
you're going with that.
because I mean, I've met people too that are smart enough to be at like a CEO of a company, but they love people, so they want to stay in the lower level where they're personable with people. You get what I'm saying? Like, what is your niche? What do you love to do? I want you to do what you love to do. I don't want you to be reaching for higher when you don't even know what you're reaching for.
This is what I mean when I say that. I'm thinking more of the terms of being equally yoked. And I said before, like everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not meant to be, built for that life. Every night, but the person that's for me, that God has for me, you gotta be where I'm at because I. It's almost like when celebrities date other celebrities. They say it's easier, but their relationships really don't be better than the rest of us. But one of the reasons why they always usually end up together is that person understands your lifestyle.
Right.
I want that person's work ethic to be like mine. Like I was talking about before, how I work when it comes to my writing stuff. You got to be able to understand that, like because it may not look. I have this problem now that it ain't even nobody want a relationship with. It's just people who are related to. When I'm writing or I'm in my room writing, to them that's not work. Work is when I go to the bank every day. To them, but writing is work to me, and I need for that person to understand that. So you got to have. That's where my thinking is with that. Like you got to be equally low. You got to understand that. Hey, this is just as important to me as, if not more important to me, than clocking in. Because I don't ever clock out of my purpose.
But
Everything's
I'd
different,
almost
though.
follow up to that and really ask, like, okay, so we were talking about dislikes and likes before, differences and honoring your differences. That may work for you, but it may not work for me. There are like people that are CEOs and their counterpart is a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad because that works. I mean, if we're both out grinding and running and like doing it, so then who's holding down the house? Who's doing, what are we doing? You know what I mean? I feel like it's a partnership. I feel like
Right.
what people are looking for is maybe a business partner. Maybe that's what everybody's looking for because I mean, that's what it's to me. That's what it sounds like. You know what I mean? You're
I don't
It's a
want one of
media
those.
approach,
I
yeah.
said it in the last
like
one. I don't.
you in that aspect, but not everybody. That makes you. That's you. So that makes you. But I
Right.
may not necessarily think like that, rock like that, and I may be your perfect counterpart because I balance you.
Yeah. 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 We got to move
I
on
had
from this list.
to follow up
Go
with
ahead.
that. I wanted to follow up with that. What if somebody isn't on what you do, but they support you in everything that you do?
That's perfect. That'll work.
That's like, oh, they understand that you need like an hour or so when you get off work to work on your writing or you work on your videos. I mean, I think when people look at the whole equally yoked thing, I think they sometimes put themselves in bondage because they kind of don't allow themselves to be able to look at a further view of somebody that could be for them. But we hit a checklist when it comes to people, and then we just cut them all off.
Yep. As soon as you miss one thing on the list. And then I wrote down what you
It's not.
said about equally yoked because I think a common misconception when I say equally yoked or when anybody says it is that we do everything the same.
Right.
That's not what I mean. I don't, because like I was just saying, I don't want nobody to be just like me. Because we'd probably be fighting every single day if he was just like me. Like Mama said, you have to balance me out. When something is balanced, they're at the same, like on the scales. If something is balanced on both sides, they're at the same point. You know what I'm saying? They're in that sense, they're equal in that sense. That's what I mean by equally yoked. You know.
I got a question too.
Yes, sir.
Now, based on what you just said,
Yes, sir.
and we're on this with two women now.
Oh God.
My
Okay.
question: why is it? What do y'all mean when y'all say y'all want a man who can handle you? I've heard women say that
I got two
they
answers.
want a man that can handle them, or he
I
can't
feel like
handle
only
me.
mental patients say that.
I've
Who?
heard women say it. I got this one. I got two answers. So there's a toxic answer, the ratchet answer, and
You know what?
okay, we're gonna go with the toxic ratchet one. We was talking about this in the last episode where a lot of women equate affection and love with it being some drama. And as we saw on the other episode with the other person that was on that episode,
Man,
she made the point to say that a rational man is not going to put up with that. The other type of man that's not good for you will put up with that. And I think they're equating putting up with mess as being, handled. First of all, I don't need to be handled. I'm not livestock.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
So I think people want people to put up with a certain level of mess and they label that as handle.
Right.
On the other side of that, I wish we stop using the word handle and because women don't want to be handled for real. Let me just keep it 100. Unless that's a whole nother episode. We ain't talking about that. That's flesh. That's flesh handle. That's the only handle. That's the only other
my
handle.
body all over your body, babe. Oh, I thought I muted that.
So,
Precisely.
women want compassion more than they want to be handled. They can say that, but they really want compassion and understanding. And it's just another, I'm sorry, ladies, but I'm about to tell our business. I feel like the women who say I want somebody need to handle me all the time means that you can't handle yourself.
You know what? Where's
We was right here with
I'm
it.
gonna put in.
You can't handle yourself. You can't get
100%.
yourself
Yes.
under control. You can't keep yourself in check. So you also you need like a father
You know
figure.
you're crazy.
You know you crazy.
You know you're crazy. That's why you said, please handle me because I can't, and neither will the Lord because I don't know what is going on.
Yikes. Okay.
So that's what I feel like when women say, "Can you handle me?" Now I will say, instead of saying that, I will say people be asking for stuff they're not ready for. For example, me. You cannot be ready for somebody, but that don't mean you can't handle. You gotta be able to keep your own emotions in check. Because what happens if something is going on with your man or your spouse, He needs to be quote unquote handled. If you can't keep yourself in check or together, how you gonna help that man when he have a moment? You can't be the only one having moments. Now we always just got to worry about keeping Keisha not crazy. Well, you know Keisha crazy. You
I
know.
mean, let's not even take it that far to say how are you going to help handle. I mean, why are you even pursuing a relationship?
I am not Caesar Milan. I ain't training no dogs. I'm just saying. We're not doing that. I don't know how many of y'all watch South Park,
to
but
go on first.
listen, we're not doing that. Moving on because I had a time limit, but I feel like we're talking good, so we're gonna keep talking. Plus, I want to get to these men non-negotiables. We got to get to these ladies first. The next one on the list that I wrote in: there cannot be any history of physical violence. It's something me and her have both been through, and I'm at the point in life where I know who I am now. And I was explaining to one of my friends on the phone, I would probably be one of them women as soon as you hit me. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna call my daddy. I'm gonna call my brothers because you would come up missing if I did that.
I'm the one.
I'm gonna do one of these and look at the blood and be like, "You right? I'll be right back." You ain't gonna cry? No, I'll be right back. Don't worry about it. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I promise I'll be right back. Then I'm gonna get on the phone and like the movie Sling Belly, I need the coroner and a detective. Cause we're not about to play those games. That's self-explanatory. We're not gonna do that. And I'm gonna tell everybody looking now, if anybody ever attempted to put their hands on my Manu, I've driven to Florida before. Don't try me. Stop! Don't play with me.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like the number one. I do agree with that point, and I feel like the number one reason why that relationship would not work for me, and I feel like it does work for other people, is because I wasn't willing to deal with it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the one that's gonna really stay quiet when you're rude to me, or you're not gonna put your hands on me without me and in art, and I already brought up that I'm Polynesian before, but Polynesian culture, I don't know if you guys know much about it, but we put women at a higher standard. Like, I think we're one of the few cultures in the world that give women value. Women are valued in our culture. So for me to get into a relationship with somebody of a different culture, it was a shock for me because I was just like, whoa. I didn't know that in all other parts of the world that women are seen as below, because in our culture they're seen as not higher than men. Men are still the men of the house, but they know that women are the reason why it runs too. They are up there. We have a position called Fahu, where it's basically the woman of, it's like an older woman in the culture where a lot of wisdom comes from her. We understand that a lot of wisdom does come from women, and it's not to discount men at all either, because we know it comes from that. But the point is, I feel like that's like almost universal, which is sad. But that's honestly why I couldn't put up with that, because it's just like, I never seen this, and I don't understand it. I don't get it.
If y'all want to know what she's talking about, y'all need to go back in season 1 of the Queen's Room podcast, episode 2, the aftermath of losing yourself. Because honey, we went deep on to why that's no longer going to be acceptable ever again in life.
For sure.
We'll be in jail sitting. Matter of fact, she'll be my lawyer. I'll be like, listen, you done? You passed the bar yet? Because I need you. They can't catch you.
Well, for this particular question, I think I can answer Chris, because we're not the type of men to do that type of thing, so we don't know how that functions. Like, it amazed me to even hear that a woman had to go through that type of action, because I have a daughter, and there's no way I want another man putting his hands on my daughter. I also have a mother. I don't want no man putting his hands on my mother, and I also have a sister, and I can go on and on.
Right.
But I don't understand how men get in a little temper tantrum because they don't get their way or they don't get something that they believe they just
That's
they feel they
exactly what
deserve,
it is.
and
Yep.
put their hands on a woman.
Yep.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm on a podcast with women. It's just a common sense and a real fact. As men, we're supposed to be leaders, not supposed to be beaters. We're supposed to be leading our families, leading our women, protecting our women, not putting our hands on them.
Child,
Yep.
come on.
And it's sad that that has happened.
I
Chris,
agree.
you was gonna say something.
So, like, I guess this is gonna be like a rhetorical question for y'all and for like any woman out there. Like, when you say that physical violence is non-negotiable, like, where do you draw the line exactly? Like, where does that begin? I mean, does that begin with like throwing stuff, like punching walls, like
Don't
where do
get
you
in
draw
my
the line
face.
for where that starts?
Don't get in my face. I know sometimes people yell when they're frustrated or passionate. I don't really even like yelling because y'all all know I don't even talk loud in daily life. So as soon as somebody starts yelling, my brain cuts off because you can say everything you saying to me, not in that tone of voice. Why are you
Right.
screaming? Because you start screaming and automatically think of toddlers. Oh, so now you're about to get mad. You're not about to get your way. And you think you're about to take that on me. So I think I'm trying to figure out how it started because it's crazy. When it starts, you never think it's going to go to the next point until it goes to the next point. Next thing you know, you're getting choked till you black out. That's my example because that was me.
And that's
So
my question. Like, where do you start that line of like, this is not okay?
where I should have started it, that I would start it now, is why are you yelling this close to me? Being backed up into a corner. Like why do you feel like you need to dominate my whole existence right now to make a point? We not no, you need to move because I'm gonna start swinging now because I'm gonna have a flashback. So no.
I think that's a really good question, though. I feel like that's a good question because I just feel like if you get to any point where you feel like you need to lash out, that's throwing things, putting your hands on it. If you're doing anything other than walking away from the situation and cooling off before we can talk, I think that's it. Because I also feel like I'm raising two sons. So for me to let you do that in front of them, that's teaching them that that's okay. So anything that I would never want my sons to replicate, anything that I would never want them to think is okay, that is where I draw the line.
Yes.
Me, on the other hand, I talk passionately. I get loud when I speak. So speaking loud is not really a big thing for me because that's how I get. But I do know there's a limit to it. So
people would know that, like me and you, like she laughs, like we all laugh loud when we together, but we ignorant, so that's different. But being around me, you know, I don't talk that loud. But being around her, you know, she's naturally loud to begin with. So
yeah.
Moving on, I touched on a little bit of this. What'd you say, Chris? Moving on our list. We almost done with the women's list. It's really not that long. It just seemed like it is.
I don't remember putting this much, but
still living the street life is a non-negotiable.
That was definitely something.
That's cut and dry.
What?
You can't be this many years because most of us in the group, without telling the ladies' ages, most of the people on this today, 75% of us are over 30. You can't still be trying to sell.
I'm not over 30 and it's still not acceptable.
I'm just saying, you too old to still trying to be that guy in the street.
Right.
Stop.
I've never been in the street, so I wouldn't know.
I haven't either, so I just thought that was an automatic. But I know that there's a reason why you had to say it because
everybody know the reason too. Okay. The next one is monogamy. That's real cut and dry.
Yeah.
It's real cut and dry. The next one, it seemed like it should be cut and dry, but it's not. I put a little asterisk next to it because I don't want to seem like a complete asshole. And I put on the list transportation because I have a car. We don't have a car. You understand what I'm saying? That's my car. I bought it, I paid for it. I fix it when things are wrong. I have a car. Okay. So if I have a car you need to have a car because I got one. We is never going to refer to my car as our car. Okay?
So never, like you're talking about even if you're married?
That's different. That's why I put an asterisk next to it.
I just want to clarify because sometimes things is going to change.
If you have a
Like-
car when we start dating and something happened and we get down to one car and we're trying to downsize and we just have one car, cool. I'm talking about the beginning stages of a relationship. You don't have no car. I like to go places. I like to travel. So sometimes I like to take road trips. You need to have. But this is not Jody and Yvette. You're not dropping me off in my vehicle. Like we're
What
not
happened to
doing
fall
that.
in love with a brother with a bus pass?
He's trying.
If you saving to get a car, again, that's where there's an
Live
asterisk.
in like Chicago or San Francisco, I mean, that might be
Right.
different, but
Or maybe
True.
even downtown Orlando, because driving on I-4 will make anybody want to jump and start walking into
True.
traffic. Because especially where church is located,
True.
you got to
Yeah.
drive by SeaWorld to get to church. And then the
I think
mall.
it's just maybe is it the effort portion for you, not
Yes, that's why it's the
necessarily the
asterisk.
actual vehicle itself.
Right. That's where it's
Right.
at. I
Okay.
put transportation. You can have a monthly bus pass and I'd be all right, but just don't expect
Right.
that. Well, when I'm
My
not
car
driving
is
my
gonna
car,
be
it's gonna be in
yours.
the driveway.
Right.
My driveway. It ain't gonna be like somebody stole your car. We're not. No. And the last one, it should be common sense, but it's not, and it's something that we both put on the list. And I'm upset that we had to say this.
I'm scared. What happened?
Personal hygiene.
Oh.
I just seen an article yesterday, and the article said mouthwash could kill coronavirus. And I thought of 2 or 3 people offhand that God forbid they ever caught it. They would just have it because I know they don't use it. It also comes from experience of talking to somebody, and when you go on the first date or you first hang out, whatever, all you smell is cologne. Okay, and then you notice stuff while you're looking around, and you look down, and them fingernails look like they've been working on car engines all day. Like your hands are darker than your actual skin color.
You know what? Yeah.
You're not touching me with them dirty fingernails. Because don't nobody know what's under there. When did you wash? And it's a pandemic right now. You are the reason why it's corona because you don't wash your hands.
Oh my God.
I just
Well, okay, I'm gonna let Chris go first. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
This was kind of a point of confusion on the last video, so I feel it's a good time to bring this up.
mm,
Men have different hygiene standards, I guess you could say. And I'm not advocating dirtiness. I try and do my best to be feeling clean as I can. Last time we was talking about how men shouldn't have a skincare routine, but
don't be ashy.
lotion just ain't cutting it. Okay, so what is the standard exactly? Where should that be?
I think it depends on the woman. Like for me, in the wintertime, I'm gonna be honest, and everybody would
You paused or you froze or something. Samia. Is it frozen for you guys? Is she frozen?
She is, yeah.
I'm just making fun of her.
Everybody else but her is good.
Samia.
Okay, we back. We back.
Your attitude stopped the whole entire project. I don't know what
my whole everything cut off for 3 seconds, so give me a second. What I was saying was, as far as the cutoff, don't be in the mirror longer than me. I don't spend that much time in the mirror anyway.
Oh my
Black
God,
people,
you guys are going deep into this with detail. Jesus.
black people have this thing where we only put lotion on the parts of the body that's showing.
Samia, that's a lot of men.
Going nuts. Okay.
Did you freeze again?
My thing just keeps spinning and coming back, so I don't know what happened. Another thing is
Hold on. Let me say something really quick. Dang, you guys, and I saw it in the other episode. Y'all going deep with this. Like, I heard skincare routines, and I was like, oh no, nope, that is not realistic.
no, don't have one of those because I don't have one of those.
But I
Just
mean,
wash
I grew up with boys, and I have 3 younger brothers. So I know that men are very different than women when it comes to hygiene. So when you say it depends on the women, because you grew up with a lot of women. So for you, it's probably different. For me, I understand. I get it. It's not like where you have to be like exactly like me. You don't have to be like washed up with skincare routine, with lotion all over my body and lathered
face
with
mask.
oil.
No,
And,
you don't got to do none
like,
of that.
no, you do not have to do all that. I just need you to be clean, a little bit moisturized at least, and we good.
Because if you do all that, I'm gonna think you gay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. If you do all that, I'm gonna think you gay. If you in there with the exfoliating brush, and
I am so.
Yeah, and
I'm
like,
thinking gay.
I'm never gonna be one of them like sugar scrub, like exfoliating.
I'm gonna think you gay. So don't do that. What I mean is like basic stuff. Like it's men who get pedicures because their feet are trash. But if your feet ain't ugly, don't worry about it. Keep them talons clipped and keep them clean. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Just keep your fingernails clean because
Fingernails is a big thing though. I mean, but at the same time, you have to specify when, because like if you just came from your job where you do manual labor, I know you're
right. But before you touch me, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna go real left real quick. Manu, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go real left. You need to have basic hygiene skills because you're not about to throw off my pH balance. And now we can move on. I'm saying, because men don't understand. I'm gonna do a whole healthcare episode, but men don't understand that. You know anything about chemistry and science. There's basic.
No,
there's
this is true.
There's a certain acidity to a woman. If y'all smart, y'all follow me. And you can throw her whole everything off if you don't wash your ass. So I'm gonna say
no,
it
but
real
that is
plain.
true. I do say it.
Wash yours so you can get some. I'm just saying. That's it. That's it. Don't nobody want to smell boiled peanuts or none of that. You just take care of it.
Right. I agree. You don't need like all kinds of skincare routine and oil down and whatnot. You don't need all that to not throw off somebody's beauty balance. So
just
that's like why I'm asking, because like some women just have that standard that's like way up there that most guys just aren't going to clear. So
I don't ever need my man at the nail shop with me. I don't want to do that.
I had a guy ask me that one time, and I was just like, I mean, like in our culture, that's I don't know what we had warriors down our line or something. I don't know, but they did not approve. I was like, nah, we cannot go get our nails done together. That's
something to do with the girls, and you're not my girl. No.
Yeah.
So
hard pass.
All I have typed up is Chris's non-negotiables. I'm going to ask XD to add his as we discussed. It's a shorter list, but there's only. It might see.
I'm so interested.
Let me count ours.
I really want to learn.
I'm gonna count ours. It's only 10. It's not that much. It's only 10. It's 4 on this one, but it's just one person. See. We had to add ours together.
There's only 4. Well, that's not really.
It's just Chris's. That's why XD gonna add his. I'm sure. So for the men non-negotiables, we have, of course, monogamy. That's self-explanatory. Knowing and loving Jesus in some way. What way? Like,
I want you to
cut off of the tongue is what I want to know.
We talked about a little bit. It was like the expectation that whoever you're with has to go to your church or, that kind of thing. Like, I used to kind of be that way where it's like, if we're together, like we have to go to the same church. You have to love God more than me, this, and that. And to an extent, I am kind of like that, but I can respect somebody like no matter where they're at in their walk with God. They just have to have one.
Okay.
Like we have to have something we can build on together. So like,
are we talking about God or are we talking about any God?
We have to follow the same God. Like,
Okay.
I'm 100% for Jesus, so I mean, nothing else is going to work. Like,
got it.
Okay. No, okay. Moving on his list, we got no involvement in illegal activity. Now I got a question. It's gonna seem real petty, but what kind of illegal activity? Because do we mean like the obvious stuff that is actually a crime? Or
I'm a black man in 21st century America. Anything that could get me in jail, you should not be doing.
So, like, if we ashy, since we was talking about skincare, and we at the store, and I notice my hand ashy, and I take a pump of lotion and just, is that considered illegal activity? Black people walk to the store.
George Floyd got killed for less, so we got to cut that out.
Eating grapes, none of that.
Yeah, no. They will literally look for a reason to like shoot or throw in jail a black man. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm like, what does that really mean in the 21st century? Because
I had to be clear.
I work in the legal field, and they have no boundaries.
Yeah, anything that can get me thrown in jail, like we can't do it.
Right.
I can't do time.
Me neither. I'm
also
telling
you out either. So yeah,
I'm not team no snitch. If we did a crime, we going to jail. Don't do anything illegal by me, because I'm not. We didn't even got to wait for the first 48 seconds. Hey, let me tell you what happened, police.
Yeah,
I'm not going to jail.
I don't pay bail. Like you gonna have to take this L and learn from it. Like,
hey, I'm not putting the money in your books either, because you shouldn't have put me in that position.
No.
The last thing that Chris had on his list was no using or willingness to use drugs. What? All drugs? Or like, what's your definition of drugs?
I'm gonna have to say all drugs because like I have a lot of friends who use marijuana, and I understand the arguments on both sides. Like that can even be a whole episode. But I've also seen a lot of people who struggle with addiction and like the ways it like absolutely destroys families and destroys marriages. So it's like you have to make up in your mind that you're just not going down that road. Because I mean, even if you're tempted, like one day you at a party and somebody pass around something, next thing you know, you hooked. It's the problem.
I have a question for that. So are you saying no addiction is allowed? Because what if you have a food addiction? Is it the same thing? Because
people do get addicted.
I mean, that wouldn't be the same as long as it wouldn't like destroy your family like a drug addiction would.
So that's what I'm asking. I mean, like, okay, sorry, I probably shouldn't be expounding on this more than I really am. But the reason why I brought that up is because I want to understand: is it the legal aspect, or is it the addiction side of it? Because I mean, addiction for food can kind of ruin a family. I mean, like you
can be on
going down a downward slope with your health and things like that. Like that's still technically.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, the difference is like food addiction is like harder to really combat because everybody needs food. Like drug addiction, that's a little bit easier to like make that black and white distinction because not everybody needs cocaine.
True, but if we're talking about marijuana, there are people that are using it medicinally. So would you be with somebody using it medicinally?
Medicinally, I don't think I'd really have a problem with it. But I mean, I don't know anybody like well enough to like see how it impacts every area of their life. So
yeah, because my granddad had to do it because my grandfather was a chemo patient, so that's when he started. But
I'm sorry, I just kind of want to understand that a little bit.
I feel that. That's a good question.
But I do want to understand where's the stopping point.
Exactly, because I mean, it's
I'm sorry, read the comments. My cousin said one of her non-negotiables is if you eat the last of my left.
leftover.
She said, I'm sorry. I'm trying to say it without laughing. She said, and excuse my language, she said, if you eat the last of my leftovers, I'm beating somebody's ass. Listen, it's something about them leftovers because
It depends on where they're
chances
from.
are I've asked you if you wanted some before it came to the point of it ain't being no more. And you be at work or wherever you at, you ready to eat that when you get home. You craving it, you want
Thinking
it.
about it, right?
And that pain when you go in that refrigerator and the container missing. The container missing.
Or the container's still in there and nothing's in it.
The audacity.
That's the audacity for me. You gotta catch these hands. You gotta catch these hands. Because or if you call and ask me, can you have some of it?
Right, like at least leave me half.
And then I come back and your some is it ain't even enough to put on the fork. We fighting. But XD, let's hear some of your non-negotiables. I gotta hear this. You talked a lot about expectations. I gotta get a position for this.
Non-negotiables.
Chris's was so simple.
Because men are simple,
a little
and complicated for no
I'm not a
reason.
complicated dude. Like yeah.
She said, "No, you had yours. Those are mine. Period." Should have ate all your food, greedy.
Non-negotiable for me is I can't deal with a woman who smokes.
Smokes what?
That's cigarettes.
I think cigarettes are disgusting too. I don't.
But
that's a non-negotiable for you. Like,
what if she quits?
We're talking about like if she had everything else, but she had this, then you would be like, nah. You'd be like, nah, if she had that one thing.
That's a good question. For all of these things on our list.
Truth.
Personal hygiene.
Did you just say truth?
No, because I said it pertains to everything on everybody's list. If they had somebody had everything you wanted except one of these non-negotiables.
Yeah. That's how I made my non-negotiables list. Is like if you had everything else and you didn't have this, then it would be nah. Because that's just the what was the other thing that I said? I made a list of dang, what is it called? When you prefer your preferences. That could be a preference. A preference is something like I'd rather have somebody that smokes than doesn't smoke. But like if they had everything else and they smoked, would you still want to be with them?
Look at the concentration.
So let me go back. First, I would say, because I'm a one-woman man, like I want to be with one woman. So I guess like everybody else, that's how I would want my relationship. I don't want to have to share my woman with anybody. And I don't want to. So I guess I'll go that route. Y'all made this extra deep, so now I gotta really think.
Well, okay, so you touched on that topic. So then, well, what is your rebuttal or agreement with his second point of you have to have a relationship with God? Where is your stance on that?
I definitely agree. You have to have a relationship with God because everything under the sun will happen in relationship. But we need to be able to turn to the sun to help things go down.
Come on, somebody. Okay. He's preaching. He said, but we got to turn to the sun.
Y'all gonna make Pastor
I'm sick of you today.
Okay, Pastor.
I'm sick of you today. I cannot today.
But
today.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's number one. No, let me backtrack. Number one for me if you can't handle my children
Mm.
are a part of my life, it definitely won't work. Because before you came into the situation, I was a father first, and I'm not giving up that position or my children for anybody.
Mm. I have a
Now, if
quick
she has
question.
kids, now if she has kids and I have kids, I'm going to love on her kids like I would love my own. But at the same time, I'm not just going to abandon my position as a father. And a lot of women I've
Mm.
seen want to do that. The one young lady I was talking to, she wanted me to take a trip with her to California. And I told her, well, I have kids. She was like, well,
Lord.
they can watch themselves. They're teenagers. And it's like, no. My responsibilities come first.
Period. I got a quick random question. Can y'all see
Go
like the
ahead.
comment section on the side for the video?
No. Oh,
No.
maybe if I press
Wait,
comment.
hold on. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, now I see it.
Okay. Mano, look at that.
How do you see it?
How did you know how to? You know how to speak my language? Excuse
You remember I told you happy birthday or the way I do how I'm trying to learn. I told you
Good
that.
job.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
I mean, I see you leveling up.
Trying to.
What language is that?
How do you
Huh?
Tongan. I speak Tongan.
Tongan. Okay, okay.
It's only so many characters in it, which makes it that's the hard part. It's only like 16 characters, right?
How did you remember? Wow. I'm amazed. Good job, Samia.
I said it right.
Yes, you did.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, XD was going. Okay, I sorry. Yep, I see.
Sorry,
I talked about the kids.
Uh-huh.
If the woman is abusive,
Mm.
because there are a lot of
'Cause
women
that's
that get mad and hit on you like I'm a man, I have pressure points. I don't want to be put in that situation.
I got a question
Because
about
I
that
want
one.
if we have a disagreement or we can't come to terms with something, I'm going to want to sit and have a conversation. I'm not going to want to put hands on you.
Right.
So don't put hands on me.
facts.
I got a question. So is the cutoff just the physical abuse for you, or can it be like any form of abuse? Verbal, mental,
Good
emotional?
question.
Like what
It
type
has
of
to
abuse you're
be
talking about?
any form of abuse because
Mm,
I can't allow my kids to see me going through that. Then they will allow
right,
themselves to go through that because dad dealt with it.
right.
Because you have to understand that as me being a father, my relationship is an example of what my children will get into when they get older. So I have to
You're right.
set the tone as a man.
Okay, come on, Pastor. What else you got, XD? I know one of them. I know one of them. I know one of his non-negotiables.
What?
Do not waste his time.
Lord.
Oh, yes. Let me get into that. Here's the thing.
You almost praise shout too.
If I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to be 100.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste my time. If you don't want to talk to me, if you don't want to be involved, go do your own thing. Because like the young lady I recently just separated from, took her to dinner and the movies, took her walks and everything. But then I noticed she kept wanting me to pay for everything. And that ticked me off. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And then when I tried to spend time with her, there was always an excuse. See, you can make excuses or you can make a attempt to do what you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do when you're getting to know somebody. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
see you actually make an attempt to try to get to know me as a person, only just staying around to reap the benefits of me being around. I'm cutting that line because
Right,
that's a waste of time to me.
right. You're not interested in
And
being
when
with me.
I'm
You're just interested
spend
in like,
time with somebody, when I spend time with somebody, I'm taking away from kids. So if you're gonna disrespect my time, you're disrespecting my kids as well.
mm.
So get your hat, your coat, and leave so I can go on back to living my life.
Right.
Get your coat and your hat. Understand me?
Hey,
Don't leave
I
nothing
need to get
I had to
behind.
everything.
bring
I
that
don't be
up.
coming back looking for nothing.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So my cousin Tasha is commenting on the side, guys. She's chiming in over there.
Yeah, I just read it.
But don't say that. Listen, remember what I was saying? Like we a close family. That's my favorite big cousin. So don't say nothing out of the way for her. We're gonna jump you. Anyway, moving right along. Um, I wanted to bring that up, that don't waste my time thing, because Sir XD says that quite often.
Sir XD.
Often, and I'm glad he elaborated, because he never really elaborates on the waste time part. It's just, but now that I see that where his thought process is
Because I
with it,
don't like
like I'm
wasting
thinking,
time talking about it.
Oh, God.
I mean, that kind of is
Because
a
what y'all don't
given. I
understand,
feel like that
what
should
I
be
don't
a given.
understand, see,
and then,
when the Lord came into my life,
oh God,
Yeah.
He told me, He showed
nah,
me.
nah.
Yeah.
My time is
Oh.
Mm.
Start reading the comments here.
I'm about to make a comment that she only
yeah, the
she
comments is what
for the comment I just made in response to what she said. You know, we roast. You know what I'm saying? I want to add it to my non-negotiables. You're gonna have to be able to take me roasting you, because I feel like if you know me, I'm gonna make jokes. Um, you're gonna make jokes. Manu is a good roaster, because let me tell you something. Something in particular, we're not gonna mention on here. But me and her know that something in particular. They roasted me for a good 3 days,
I'm so done.
but
I think you should be able to take a little. I obviously you can tell I like laughing, I like telling jokes,
right.
but at the same time, I pay attention when people make jokes.
Right, because it'd be a little bit of truth.
I feel like people, and there's a lot of people that are passive aggressive and they like to pass things through jokes. So
Yes, they do.
you sure that was a joke? Because there's a difference between a joke
Yeah.
and the truth that you're trying to hide
Yeah.
when people joke.
Like I just mentioned Juanita. Juanita is our great grandmother. She would roast you. She couldn't even see no more, and she could still tell if you was big or not. Let me tell you something. Tasha, no, I'm not lying. Right, you got to be able to laugh at myself. So I got to be able to laugh at myself. And most of the time, when we're roasting somebody or we joking, I already know all these things about myself. So you can't really hurt my feelings unless you take it personal. But most of this stuff I already know. You got to have
The
it's
relationship. You just
right.
have
Like
to we have to be able to have that where I love you and you love me too. So if I say anything that's just a joke and if it hurts your feelings, let me know.
for instance, I know my forehead big. That's why it's a swoop on it today. Because I got lemonade braids and it's exposed. You know what I'm saying? Had not covered this up, most of it would be on the screen. I know this.
You
You're not hurting my feelings. I know that that's there. It's been there my whole life. I may got a big forehead, but I have beautiful eyebrows. So that's that. See, it's beautiful eyebrows on the big forehead. So what? What's your point? I know it's there. Not a baby hippo. I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments. So this is the thing our great grandmother used to do. If she ain't seen you in a while and you gained any weight whatsoever, she would look you up and down. Well, baby, I almost didn't recognize you. You look like another you. You gained some. I said, did she say another you?
Wow, it's pretty savage.
She said another you. Listen,
Chris said,
Right.
"Wow."
rest in peace to the Queen Savage, and that's another reason why we're such a close family now, because we had 6 generations alive. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Don't worry. Tasha gonna be on an episode soon, and I can't wait for that. I could not wait for that because if y'all thought Queen was something, listen, she, motto keep it straight.
Are you gonna edit this part, Samia?
This went edit, baby. We live.
It is live.
We live. Edit. Ma'am. We
Oh my
live, baby. We
goodness.
live.
Straight raw.
So the last point I want to end this on, I'm gonna ask a question and I want everybody to answer the question. And the question for this whole thing was because we're talking about expectations versus standards. Why you said that while I'm talking, Tasha? She said Granny was completely savage because if she was blind and still can tell that you was fat, then you was fat. That's all. I'm just trying to tell you. She couldn't see that. Let her tell her she could see. Let her tell her she could see and hear. And you had to go knock on when she was living on Forest Hill. You had to go knock behind the window where she sat so she would open the door. Because our granny was old school. She had a switch, you understand me, on the mantle. And it was just up there so you could see it. Then she had the TV on top of the TV. Kid you not. She would have 2 different stories on. If y'all don't know what stories are, that's soap operas. And be listening to the stories on the radio. Okay? Like the stories on the AM radio. And she knew what was happening on everything. You understand me? We ain't ever had nobody make you no homemade syrup. Look, we don't need no syrup. I got sugar and water. I will make you some syrup. Anyway, the last question that I want to ask everybody is why do you think people get expectations mixed up with standards?
They don't know what they want.
Child? Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
I agree with that, but I think a lot of people just want to be treated right. They just don't know how to communicate what right is.
Ooh, okay. I like all these answers. XD.
People don't know how to communicate what they really want
Mm-hmm,
or have an understanding of describing what they want.
mm-hmm. And for me, I think it's a combination of what everybody said. Plus, they've never, if you've never had standards before, how do you even go about picking what your standards are? And like what Mana was saying, you got to know what you want to begin with. If you don't know what you want, then you can't give standards. And if you don't have standards, you can't really have expectations.
But I'd also say, like, I know this is like a big thing. I mean, I think it's healthy to want another person. I feel like on social media they have all these grand ideas of what a relationship is supposed to look like. But at the same time, I feel like, have you spent enough time with yourself to know what you like, don't like, what you need, your standards? Have you spent enough time? Have you dated yourself? Have you communicated? Can you stand your own company? How can somebody else
Ooh,
stand
come on,
your
like you
company if
stay
you
your own
don't
company.
stand your company?
My cousin Tasha said, having hope to be loved and closing a blind eye to stuff you shouldn't ignore because you don't want to be alone. That's
dangerous.
That's child. Because I think me and XD, and we closing in like 10 minutes. Like Pastor said, this is my first closing. You know I got 3.
Before I let you go,
XD, are you sleeping?
You don't talk for 30 minutes. Man.
Oh,
listen. Yeah, he'd say that 3 times. That third one he really mean it. Me and XD was talking about this was you see the qualities you want in a person, and you think because you see it that you're going to get it. That's an expectation. You cannot. That's not that person's fault that you saw something in me that you liked, but you thought you was gonna get it because you saw it. No, because I don't even know what your standards are. So how can you expect me to treat you any sort of way just of what you saw initially? You know, it's almost
Can you like give details? I don't know what you're talking about.
like you see somebody has a good relationship with their mother.
I can't. Let me do it.
Oh, go ahead, Lord. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you have it.
When you see, let's say when you see somebody and you look at them as like, you know what? I think he would be a really good man for me. I think he'd be able to go to work and come home and do all this and that for me. But when you get with him, he's none of that. But you're going to stay with him because you can see him being all of that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of women get with men and they have this idea of what they want him to be in their mind, but he's presenting her something totally, completely different. Get on Facebook and they posting all this and that about how good this man is, but it's a false narrative. That's just what you believe him to be. You're not seeing the truth in this man because you only seeing what your your mental expectations of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's almost like that's another episode coming up soon in Queen's Realm, potential versus reality. You come up with all these off the wall expectations because the potential to do this or the potential to be treated like this, or you make a whole relationship with this ma'am. Because you don't know if you're looking at the person or the
Another
representative.
thing,
Go ahead.
I just want to let Queen know that I am very serious. Saying.
First of all, I didn't say that the first time you said it. But since there's no confusion. Like you told me the one day. Say the whole name. You're not gonna keep calling me Queen. Say all of it. Say all of it.
Wait, yeah, who are you talking about?
Say Queen's Realm. Say that. Because he say Queen's Realm or Samia or something. Say all of that. Say the whole name. Just
I was like, wait, what?
Queen's
Hold on.
Realm.
because he
My
did it
fault.
3-4 times now.
Forgot we have two.
We have two.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
One in the same. I understand what you're trying to say. Okay. No? Samia said no.
That's
Okay.
not my
Have
tribe.
you ever seen a guy? Have you ever seen a guy wearing the Michael Jordan jersey and the Michael Jordan shoes, and you think like, man, he can really play basketball because he has on the gear. And you see him play, and he's garbage. That's that expectation.
Yep.
Because he's wearing the gear, you think he can play the role.
But I don't know who I'm quoting. Is it Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle? I think Dave Chappelle quoted.
Did you say David Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle quoted Chris Rock.
Okay. Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? He might be wearing a Hooper's uniform. That don't mean, you know what I'm saying, he can play. This might be cosplay for him. You don't know. He may look like a good man. It's cosplay.
True.
Cosplay. I know one thing. Queens. Hey. She says she can't type the stuff she want to say. Oh, you know what? What? Everybody stop what they're doing. Go read my cousin's comment. Everybody go stop what they're doing. Read that real quick. Listen, this is my
That's
show.
above
We
my
talk
pay
about whatever
grade.
I want
So
Wait,
I
what?
save that one for another episode.
Yeah,
We need some time to kind of break every chain. I was finna say something, but I got okay. Yeah, but for real, you know what I'm saying? It's Queen's Realm. That's me. I don't want it to be no confusion. Because
We got
Queen's
it.
not even Queen's the other Queen.
No,
That's
you
not her
don't.
real name.
No, you got it. We got it. Yep.
Okay, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right, Mom. I got it. Okay, you're right. Let's be quiet. See how she keeping me accountable. She just said no, and I just you're right. You're right.
And moving on.
And moving on. Okay, this has been another. That's like a 3-part miniseries, cuz. This has been another eye-opening, wonderful episode of Queen's Realm. There's going to be a lot more panels. Y'all stick around, pay attention, because the things that come out, the things you learn. You see, I got notes. I'll tell you all the time. Grab a notebook, pencil, paper, something to write on, because I don't know. Ed left already, but I appreciate y'all. Manu, you know I love you.
I love you more.
I just gotta look at her a little bit longer. I'm sorry. You don't understand how much we don't. You don't understand how much we love each other.
We do love each other a lot.
So whatever. Is she still in Florida? And I'm up
I
here where it's cold.
am.
You know what? Cut. I'm retired. Anyway, we're not gonna.
I'm so done.
I'm retired. I'm a good wholesome person. Okay, good wholesome. I'm retired. I hung my jersey up. I ain't coming. I ain't putting it. I hung my jersey up.
Retired.
I'm retired. But again, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna thank Chris for Christ Publications, XD, and of course my Tongan princess Manu. Thank y'all for watching.
Definitely been a blast. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all
Nice
ignorant.
to meet you, Manu, too. Yeah.
Nice meeting you guys.
I'm gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna be back at it tomorrow, and it's gonna be a whole
Yeah.
different conversation tomorrow. So y'all tune in for that. Y'all tune in for that. Bye. I love y'all.
Bye.